I'd just like to say you played a piece about asking that Rishi Sunak did not answer the question. I actually respectfully disagree with you. He did answer the question. The nurses were already given a pay rise last year when the public sector pay was frozen. And in addition to that, they've also given some other benefits.
You know what's happened to inflation since then, and you know what the rationale is for the industrial action this year.
Yeah, but if everybody gets the pay rise which they seek, then we're just going to go into an inflationary spiral. Where do you hold the line?
They didn't get the pay rise that they sought in Scotland. They got roughly half.
Fair enough. Maybe the cost of living in Scotland is not the same as it is in the UK and other parts of England.
Scotland is in the UK.
No, I said other parts. The cost of living there is not as high as it is. I live here in London.
Right.
It's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. But nurses don't deserve a pay rise.
They already got one last year.
Yes, but we've just established that the rationale for this year's industrial action has nothing to do with last year's economic situation and everything to do with this year's economic situation.
And also, if you look at the effective pay rise the nurses are asking for, it's almost 20%. I mean,
that's the opening figure in a negotiation that they're refusing to undertake. So that the government's is 4%. So they would meet somewhere between the two if they were minded to thrash it out. So you need to tell me what Rishi Sunak said yesterday that explains your confidence that he did answer the question of why they won't do those negotiations.
He gave you 3 points. He said they already had pay rises when the public sector.
But we've established that was before we had double-digit inflation. So, I mean, this isn't an opinion, Ola. This is just counting. The reason why they're taking industrial action is because of the relationship between, well, there's a number of reasons, but if you want to focus on the finances, it's the relationship between the economic situation today and a wage settlement that was made last year. So but that's a pointless response to the question of why are you not negotiating now, because you would never negotiate ever again under that. So we can scratch that one off. What's the next one?
Okay. So why are you not looking at what the independent peer review board said?
Well, because they ignored the independent pay review board a couple of years ago when they called for a 1% rise for, I think it was junior doctors. So you can't either it is gospel that you always abide by or it isn't. So I'm back to the question of what Rishi Sunak said yesterday that gives you confidence that he did answer the question of why he won't do what the Scottish government did and negotiate with the nursing unions.
It's not different from what's happening in Ukraine, where Zelenskyy has said the starting point.
I'm sorry, you're talking about Ukraine?
Hold on a second.
Okay. I'm definitely holding on a second. I can't wait to hear this.
Sorry, where Zelenskyy says the starting point is we're talking about our 2014 borders. That's when we come to the negotiation table.
Yes.
That's what. Okay. And so basically, the government is simply saying we're not going to have a conversation where the starting point is 20%. We've said 4%. Let's start from there. We will speak when we start speaking from there. And I think that's what Rishi Sunak is trying to hold the line on that.
I don't think that made any sense at all.
Why? Why not?
Well, I mean, the comparison with Volodymyr Zelenskyy's tactics in the war against Russia is, I think, probably beyond explanation when it comes to how ridiculous that is. And I think you said they will start speaking when they start speaking.
No,
which again is not dripping with rationality.
Negotiation of whoever the opening.
But they're not doing any negotiation. That's the point.
This is all part of a negotiation.
No. If the negotiation had been happening yesterday, there would be no strike today. I apologise. I thought I'd made that clear. And I thought that was precisely what Keir Starmer pointed out in Parliament yesterday.
There'll be no strike today, but there'll be a strike in 2 weeks when they get to the same point.
Mate, but that's not the question we're asking today.
Okay.
So why did he not negotiate with them to avoid today's strike?
I thought about giving based on what I've been seeing and hearing. I thought he made a pretty cogent point as to why he doesn't want to come to the table at this point.
Yeah. Do you still think that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, run me through it again.
But I'm repeating what I've already said.
No, because we've established that some of the stuff you said was silly. I think we'll leave Ukraine out of it for round two. And you can't claim that last year's pay rise is somehow relevant to industrial action being taken in response to today's economic situation. So let's just try once more.
I cannot agree to that. I cannot agree to that position where you're saying we cannot take into effect what happened last year and talking about what's going on this year. Because
so you reject the nurses' own explanation of why they're taking industrial action?
That they need more money because of the spiral in inflation we have right now? No, I don't reject that. But
then you understand why it's irrelevant to bring in a pay offer that was made before the spiralling inflation that we have now, before the energy bills went off the scale. And of course, we're overlooking entirely their contention that in order to retain and recruit the desperately needed new staff, the pay has to be better. So let's bring that into it as well now.
So James, I ask you this. So
No. We're running through your answer again now. I'm not here to answer your questions.
But you've posed a question to me, and I'm asking you.
But you can't answer a question with a question.
No. The point is, we've got to put a lid on the spiraling inflation somewhere, somehow. Yeah. And maybe he's decided to start with the nurses.
Well, why didn't he say so?
Because the nurses are lovable people. You cannot say that.
So now you're offering up an entirely different answer to the one you rang in with.
Fine. You got me, James.
Thank you very much. It's not an intellectual... Well, it's not hardly a battle of wits, is it? Because one of us is unarmed. But it is just ridiculous that you would regurgitate these talking points when even the most cursory examination proves how ridiculous they are. I'm not amused by it. I'm glad that you are. I'd be embarrassed.